Hello. I'm Cherry, mom of 10, inspiring families to live a life connected to God. Welcome to Pause for Purpose, a weekly moment right here on my personal page where we breathe and realign our hearts with what matters most. So I want to help you pause long enough to let God reshape your perspective. And we're on week 8 of our Everyday Worship series in the topic titled, Behold God's Will in Every Circumstance. And we have a lot of circumstances because we are a family and we are moms and we're parenting and we're taking care of kids. If you are a mom, you can join my free Facebook group called She's Connected, and we go a little bit deeper. After every live here, I go live there, and you can join me if you want to. I'm putting that link in the comments. It's that time of year again in our house. Homeschool planning season. Ooh, and if I'm honest, I feel the pressure every single year. I am homeschooling fewer children as the years go by, but we still have a group of young, wild boys that need to be taught, and I sit down with all my notebooks and my curriculum ideas and my dreams for each kid and my spreadsheets of plans, and I start praying through each of my children, asking God what they need this year. And I spend time remembering why we as a family actually homeschool in the first place. And I ask Him to give me vision and wisdom and direction. But somewhere in the middle of all that planning, I usually notice something happening in my heart. I start carrying the weight of getting it all right. I begin thinking that if I choose the wrong things, or what if I choose the wrong things? What if I miss my kids' needs? What if I don't do enough? And what if they don't know enough? Maybe you felt that too. It's not just about homeschool either. That's just what's happening right now in my life. It could be your marriage, a job decision, a health concern, or you're just overall parenting. You could be questioning if you should start that home project or if you should have another baby. You could be debating to take that job or sign the kid up for that thing. You could be figuring out how to help a struggling child or how to pay that bill this month. And you just want to know, God, what's your will? What is God's will? That's what we're constantly trying to ask and figure out. Well, every year God reminds me that His greatest concern isn't whether I make the perfect plans or you make the perfect plans. His greatest concern is whether you're walking with Him while you make the choice, while you're deciding. Are you walking with Him? And that can be so freeing. The Bible actually makes God's will much simpler than you think or than you make it. God's will isn't first about your destination or the outcome or the result or where you are going to end up. It's about your direction and how you are living your life right in that moment. When the disciple Paul wrote to the church in Thessalonica, they were walking through some hard times, some hardships. They weren't asking easy questions because life wasn't comfortable for them. And Paul didn't tell them, here's your 5-year plan. He didn't tell them exactly where to live or what career to choose. He told them exactly what God's will was. In 1 Thessalonians 4 verse 3, it says God's will is for you to be holy. That's it. That's God's will. God's will for your life is for you to be holy. How are you going to get there? He doesn't tell us exactly, but He knows that He wants you to be holy. God's will is that you become more like Jesus. And then just a chapter later, he says, rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in every circumstance. He gave us these 3 things to do that will get us to God's will. It will get us to being more holy. Well, not more holy, being holy. It will get us to being more like Christ. So rejoice and pray and give thanks. This is God's will for you in Jesus Christ. Did you catch that? God actually tells you His will. You don't have to worry or try to figure it out. He doesn't give us every detail, but He does give us the posture that He wants your heart to have wherever you are in life. And if you have any little kids, chances are you have a mum bag or a diaper bag. When you leave the house with little ones, you don't know everything that's going to happen. Will someone scrape a knee, need a snack, have an accident? You don't know the circumstances, but you do know what to pack. The Band-Aids, the granola bars or crackers, and the change of clothes. God does something similar. He doesn't always tell you every single thing that's going to happen or every circumstance you'll face today. But He tells you what to carry into every circumstance. So here's 4 things to carry in your everyday worship mum bag, I'm calling it. So the first thing is joy. God tells us to choose joy. Choose to remember that God is still good, even when life feels really messy. And the second thing is prayer. Keep talking to Him all day long. That's what He wants from you. Carry that in your bag. Keep talking to Him all day, not just in your quiet time, because who gets quiet time? But while you're doing the chores and driving and cooking and even waiting. And the next thing is gratitude. Look for His goodness, even when the day doesn't go the way that you hoped it would, because that's pretty much every day. So have gratitude. And the next thing to carry is a heart that wants Jesus. Ask, how can I become more like Christ today? Before the day happens, and then when those crazy wild things come along, you're going to be prepared. You're going to be prepared to have joy. You're going to be prepared to take a minute to pray. You're going to be prepared to have gratitude in this situation, even though that's crummy, if it is crummy. So have a heart that wants Jesus. Those are the 4 things. And they don't depend on your circumstances. They're available all the time. When the day is wonderful and when the day is exhausting. You don't know exactly what tomorrow holds. You probably still have unanswered questions about all kinds of things like your kids, your marriage, your future, your health, or those dreams that are still sitting in your heart. But you don't have to know every next step to walk confidently today. God has already revealed His will for you in this moment. It's become more like Christ. Rejoice, pray, and give thanks. That's His will. When you keep walking with Him, you don't have to fear missing His will because you're already living in it. So today, don't carry the pressure of figuring out your entire future or getting it right. Simply take the next faithful step with Jesus. He's far more interested in walking with you than handing you a map for you to go it alone. That quiet faithfulness. you offer in your ordinary days is worship to Him. And it's making an eternal difference in your family. Now, as I've been studying God as my shepherd this year, I've realized that sheep don't know where the whole journey is leading. They simply just stay close to their shepherd. That's their job. Follow Him. Stay by Him. And that's your job too. That's my job. God's will isn't giving you this entire map or even the destination or where you're going. It's just stay close to the shepherd to take the next step when He says, come follow me, go here, do this. God's will isn't something you have to find as much as it's someone you get to follow. Now, Proverbs 3 verses 5 and 6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not rely on your own understanding. In all your ways know Him, and He will make your paths straight. So notice the order here. God doesn't say, figure everything out and then trust me. He says, trust me first. Know me. Walk with me, and I'll take care of directing your path. Stay close enough to recognize the shepherd's voice, because every circumstance is shaping something in you. When you're exhausted, He's growing dependence. When you're waiting, He's growing trust. When your plans change, He's growing surrender. When you're celebrating, He's growing gratitude. When you trust that God loves your kids even more than you do, everything changes. Suddenly, all your homeschooling choices aren't all on you. All of your parenting isn't all on you. You're following the shepherd, and your family belongs to Him. So I don't know what circumstance you're walking through today, but I'm sure you are walking through one, because I am. Maybe you're making big decisions for your family, like I'm choosing my homeschool. Maybe you're wondering if you're doing enough. Maybe you're replaying conversations in your mind. Maybe you're questioning your parenting or second guessing your, rules and guidelines in your home. Or maybe you're just worried that you've somehow missed what God wanted for your family. Well, I want to remind you that the very fact that you're bringing those questions to God says something beautiful about your heart. You want to honor Him. You want your home to reflect Him. You want your children to know Him. Those desires, they don't come from pressure. They're actually evidence of His Spirit at work in you. And the shepherd who called you into parenthood and motherhood has never expected you to carry it alone. He walks right beside you in your every decision, in your every unexpected detour, in your every ordinary Tuesday, in your faithfully leading. He is faithfully leading both you and your kids in this everyday life. So today, release the pressure. You don't have to have the perfect plan or every answer. You just need to keep taking the next faithful step with Jesus. As you rejoice and pray and give thanks and trust Him in every circumstance, you're going to discover this wonderful thing, that God's will isn't hidden somewhere out in the future for you to find. It's found every time you choose to follow your shepherd in the circumstance that you're in today. And as you keep following your shepherd, your quiet faithfulness is planting seeds of faith that are going to echo through your children for generations, or even through your friends. So keep walking with Him. You're not walking alone, and He is faithfully leading you exactly where you need to go. God's will isn't just something to know. It's a life to live. It was always about walking with the one who is the way. So go and walk with Him. He'll lead you home. That is it for today. I did want to say hi. Someone showed up in the comments. Bev, thank you so much for being here live. I got to put a little heart or love on that comment up there. And that's it for today. Happy connecting, everyone. I hope to see you right back here on my personal page next week for another live. And if you can, join me live in She's Connected. Right after this, we are going to talk about not beholding something, but becoming. And now I just lost my note of what we're doing. Oh, become shaped by surrender. That's what we're going to be talking about in She's Connected. So I'll see you in there in a couple minutes. Happy connecting.